Hi everybody, welcome to Wild Suncatchers for the month of November. We are going to be focusing on asters this month. Aster is a Greek word which means star. The composite flower head of the aster is like a many-pointed star, and that's why it's called the asters. There are many species of asters, so when we do our project, whichever ones that you happen to find out and about is totally fine. And we won't be focusing on any specific species today. But asters grow pretty much everywhere. They're very versatile. They can grow alongside the roads really nicely. They can grow down by the water, down by the ocean. Some of them are very shade loving and like the woods, and some of them enjoy the fields. So you can really find them all over the place. Today we're near this little aster here on the Blue Hill Heritage Trust Post Office Trail. Most of the little pappus seed heads have been blown away. It's been very windy today, and that's their method of dispersal, is through the wind. Asters are amazing pollinator plants, and oftentimes they grow right next to the goldenrod, and between the two of them, Doug Tellamy from the University of Delaware says that they have the most moths and butterflies that depend on them for habitat and food source. So they're really special, this kind of companionship of these two in the wildflower world. Asters at this time of year also, when they get to the point of having little seeds, are really good food for birds. And if you don't cut down the stalks of the aster or the goldenrod and let them overwinter as they are, they provide shelter for small animals as well. So today we're going to be learning how to set up a winter native plant nursery and taking some of these aster seeds and planting them. And I'm just going to show you a few easy steps to do so. And we're planting them now in November because they have to overwinter outside. They have to go through a process of cold stratification in order to germinate in the spring. I'll show you, we have these tiny little seeds, and they look very delicate, but in fact, they have to go through a kind of weathering process and kind of a breaking down of their seed coat by the frost and the rain and the weather in order to be ready to germinate and open up to the sun and other nutrients in the springtime. So when you plant your asters in your pot, which I'm going to show you in a second, you're going to want to leave them outside for the winter and let them get covered in snow and rain and all the things that happen outside, and they'll be totally fine. They love it and they need it. All right, so let's move on to our project over here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make a very simple native plant winter nursery for your aster seeds. If you received a kit from the Blue Hill Public Library, you will have received this, this nice little sheet here that talks about how to identify the aster, both the flower head and the seed head. You will have received a pot with some soil, a bag with a little bit of sand, and the one thing I didn't include, or Claire and I forgot to include in the kit, was something to write the name of the plant on. So in case you get inspired and decide to collect goldenrod seeds and all sorts of other seeds that are out at this time of year to include in your winter nursery, you'll be able to tell them apart in the spring. And when you write the name, I'll just do this right now, I'm going to plant aster, you want to make sure you use a pencil and not a pen. I've made the mistake in the past to use a pen, and by spring all the ink is completely washed away and you have no idea what it is. So you want to use a pencil to write aster. All right, so first step is to find your pot. If you got a kit, you'll have one that looks like this. If you didn't get a kit, you can really use anything. You could use a yogurt container with a hole in the bottom, any old plant pots that you can find. You could use like milk cartons or gallon jugs that have been cut down. A lot of recycled things are good for planting native plants. So you're going to fill your pot about 3/4 with soil. This is an organic, like potting soil. You can also use seed starting, just any kind of nice soil to give the seeds a chance to get started. Then you get to go out and gather your seeds, and we have some right here, so I'm just going to take a few of these. And you can plant quite a few seeds together. Like if you were planting a garden, you might really try and space your pea seeds, for example, like several inches apart. But with native plants, love to grow really close together. So they can be like anywhere from 1/8 to 1/4 inch apart. And I just sprinkle and I don't really measure. All in here. And this is another type of aster, so I'm going to take some of these too. Here. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. And when you get enough, you could even add more than this, but we'll go with that for now. You'll see that the seeds are going to want to blow away. You'll also see that the seeds are very, very small, and we don't want to cover them up too much. I guess the rule of thumb is to put just enough soil to like hold them in place. And we're actually going to use sand because people recommend using sand to hold them down. It doesn't wash away as easily in the wind and rain and snow. So we'll just sprinkle a little bit of sand on top of them to kind of hold them down. Like that. And if you're getting sand from somewhere other than our kits, just make sure it's sand that doesn't have like road salt and other things, because that could kill the seeds and the plants might not grow. All right, so it's pretty easy, and then you can stick your name tag in there. It's a very simple process, and after you're done, you just want to find a somewhat sheltered place, not sheltered from the snow, like you want the snow to be able to fall, but just kind of out of the way of traffic. So like tucked up against the side of your house or under an outside bench, or if you have an old open cold frame, you could set them in there. If you have a lot of birds in your yard who might want to come and eat the seeds, or rodents, you could get a piece of like wire mesh or chicken wire or something and kind of just lay it across the top of your pots, and that will help protect them as well. Asters and a bunch of native plants actually take a couple of years to flower, so be patient. The leaves might start coming up in the late spring, and by the end of next summer you might just have a pot full of beautiful aster leaves and no stalks or flowers, and that's the way they grow and develop. At the end of next summer, you could probably transplant them out of your pot into a garden bed or somewhere in your yard, and then wait for the following summer for some beautiful blossoms. So I think that's it. Have a lot of fun gathering seeds, and look for other types of seeds as well, and try planting them to see what comes up next spring. Thanks for joining.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us for Wild Suncatchers this month. As Landere mentioned, we are discussing asters this month. And so I'm going to share a couple books with you. And by the way, I'm Claire, the Youth Services Librarian at the Blue Hill Library. And I encourage you to come check out any of these books. One is Braiding Sweetgrass, which we mentioned before, by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and she has a wonderful chapter about asters and goldenrod. As Landere mentioned, they often are found growing together, and so I won't share the chapter with you, but I highly recommend getting your hands on a copy of this book and reading this chapter, Asters and Goldenrod. She talks a lot about the colors, and it's really phenomenal. And another plug again for Kate Furbish, the incredible artist. This is one of the books we have here at the library, Kate Furbish and the Flora of Maine. And we talked about this back with the Wild Violets. In case you all didn't get to see that one, you should check it out. But I just wanted to share with you her drawing of the New England aster. And I really like, underneath it says, this is the New England aster, and when she found this plant at East Livermore and later at Poland Spring, Kate Furbish remarked, "I do not think it is common. Common in most of New England, it grows now in 11 Maine counties." So we have a couple of her books. I highly recommend checking them out. And I also just wanted to mention that I have positioned myself in front of some an exhibit that we have here at the library right now. And this weaving is done with natural dyes, which I think is really beautiful. So I'm going to share with you one other piece by Kate Furbish from a really big book that we have of her illustrations and watercolors. Thank you for joining us this month for Wild Suncatchers, and I just wanted to let you know that we are planning on doing a wreath making workshop. It will be online in this format as well, but if you'd like to sign up to get a kit where you will have all the materials, you can do that on the library website at bhpl.net, or give us a call at the library at 374-5515. And we can sign you up, and you'll get a ring to make your wreath on, wire, and some other things, I believe. But you will be in charge of going to collect the greens to create your wreath. And the Blue Hill Heritage Trust has granted permission that if you're not going to be selling the wreaths, that you can actually harvest greens on any of their trails. And we highly recommend the Surrey Forest as a place. So keep your eyes out. It'll be December 16th. It's a Wednesday, and we'll be doing wreath making. So I hope you can join us. Thank you for being here with us, and see you next time.